Alright guys, it's time for part 2 of my Q&A series. If you want to ask another question, please go to the video in the description and leave a comment. I will not be answering questions from the comments in this video. And let's start with Contemptible Lamb, who asks, how large is your cock? Well, massive. The Nathan NS asks, has there ever been a moment when you've screwed up recording a video and couldn't upload it or tried later? And this was a very, very common thing when I didn't have the capture card. When you're recording with just a point-and-shoot camera at a monitor, there's a lot of problems that can happen. One, it'll be extremely blurry. Two, you could have really bad color washout or something like that happening. The camera that I used didn't have any kind of manual focus, so once it started recording, that's pretty much all you got. The viewfinder on it looked okay, but once I copied it to my computer, it just looked like complete crap. And another problem that I discovered with the camera is that there's actually a 60 frames per second mode. However, it doesn't record any audio in 60 frame per second mode, and I did not discover that until I copied the video file to my computer, so lots of problems with that. Haven't really had a lot of problems with just using like Camtasia or the capture card. Web Banana asks, what do you think of Justin Bieber Linux? And I would say it's not quite as good as Rebecca Black Linux. Hannah Warswick asks, did you ever get hit with a rogue antivirus? And I think I mentioned this earlier. I think I had the Vundu Trojan from 2008, 2007 or so, and it dropped the Rogue Drive Cleaner, actually. Epic Rancor Captain Fridge asked, have you ever seen or heard of a virus for a Mac or game console like Microsoft's Xbox 360, etc.? I don't know of anything like that for the Xbox, but there's plenty of malware for the Mac. And about 3 years ago, I actually made a video about a fake antivirus on Mac called Mac Defender. And that's recorded with the point-and-shoot, so it looks like crap, but you can still watch it today. XYXX502 asked, what computer do you use for recording videos? I use my desktop, my main desktop, that has the capture card in it, and then I use the standalone to actually run whatever malware, whatever I'm testing. Imo asks, can you infect a virus with a virus? Yes, this happens a lot more often than you think it does. And this generally happens if you have like a large folder of malware and you accidentally run something infected with the Salady virus, which will infect every other executable in the folder. So that just ruins everything. Sean DCO2 asks, can you pirate CryptoLocker? No. Albino Son asked, why were some of the YouTube notifications about your videos being marked as spam? That's because my videos are spam. Bean is Awesome NT asks, where do you get your rogue software? Are testing computer viruses on a virtual machine safe? Which virtual machine software is safer to use when testing computer viruses? Is it possible to find really old rogues that wasn't really in the spotlight? For example, Virus Heat, which was a spyware quick clone. I download my rogue softwares from the internet, and when all precautions are taken, pretty much every virtual machine software is going to be safe, but you should always be prepared for something to go horribly, horribly wrong. Like I said, they're all pretty much the same. I use VMware Workstation because it has the nicest features and doesn't break all the time like VirtualBox. And you're probably not going to be able to find old rogues, quote, in the wild. You'll have to find somebody that actually has a sample of it. Sneaky Fox asked, have you analyzed some of your rogues by hand, or have you just relied on the descriptions and other such things found around the internet? Yeah, generally there's somebody way, way smarter than me that'll do the analysis of these, like Xylitol or somebody like that. So I just make the videos. Sean Gerhardt asks, which antivirus do you believe to be the most effective outside of using common sense? Free or paid, real-time protection and or detection as potential factors. For most effective and most overkill, I would say actually Komodo Internet Security. Now, I haven't used it in about 2-3 years or so, but what I remember is that it had the HIPS protection, the host intrusion protection system, and this would block everything that it didn't know about, so you get a lot of false positives, but it was also very, very secure. However, I really wouldn't recommend using it nowadays. It's just way overpowered. Whoever this is, Danaloct1 asks, I got a question for you. Why you such a bitch? Your letter has been read fully and your thoughts have been imputed and accepted for better improvement. Thank you for your time and efforts. Hail Hitler X Bug Weiro asks, when is the History of Windows Part 10 coming out? And Flames J Elite asks, will you continue your Windows history videos? Right now I have no plans to continue that series. Mr. Smitty413 asks, do you think in 5 to 10 years most people will be using Linux? Well, actually, most smartphone users are using Linux right now in the form of Android. I assume you mean by Linux, you mean like on the desktop. Probably not, unless if SteamOS becomes a really, really big thing and it's installed on a lot of computers. But then again, Ubuntu was supposed to be the mainstream Linux operating system that would take all the market share, and it really hasn't done that. So, probably not. B.R. Shaw asks, in what ways have rogues evolved since they came out about circa 2005, and what fake AV innovations do you think we'll be seeing in the near future? Also, I noticed you're subscribed to quite a few shooting-related channels. Ever considered uploading yourself taking some shots at a range? And the first question, rogues have peaked, honestly. I don't think you're going to see anything really innovative about them. Maybe you'll see more ransomware-related actions taken by them, but probably nothing super new. And for your second question, the only problem with making shooting videos for me is that I don't have my own property to shoot on, so I have to go to a private range, and I don't know whether or not they'd allow me to film. I could ask them next time I go, but I kinda doubt they'll let me film there. Andy Gamez asks, have you ever encountered / is there a virus out for more modern computers, Vista or later, that is almost as worse as the deadly computer BIOS murderer CIH? I have not encountered anything like that, but there's really nothing stopping somebody from making some kind of malware that wipes the BIOS or overwrites it with crap. Malware Hurts asks, why don't you smoke heroin, you coward? Because I am a coward who does not smoke meth or crack or heroin. Hello Face asks, what was your favorite rogue you've ever tested? Definitely Novice Shield. It's just the best. Nanotyrannus Lancis asks, out of all the rogues you've tested, which one was the easiest to remove? And there's actually been a lot of rogues that include their own uninstaller, which makes it incredibly convenient to just remove this crap. Simpsins123 asks, do you like cats? They're okay, I guess. I don't really feel one way or the other about them. Hazardous asks, what GPU do you have? I have a Radeon HD 7770. Portia Page asks, why are people so utterly terrified about cookies? I've actually seen people on Web of Trust give unsafe ratings to websites which contain cookies. Where does this fear stem from, and are cookies anything whatsoever to worry about? This is a little complex because people actually don't really know what cookies do, the majority of people, so there's an irrational fear of them. And the cookie itself is in no way dangerous, but the main worry about cookies nowadays is these, quote, third-party tracking setups where different websites will have different resources that are able to access the same cookies, so they're able to track you from site to site, and generally they give you more targeted advertising. So there's a little bit of a privacy worry, but nothing malicious technically. And furthermore, Web of Trust is probably the worst security or anything community you can find on the internet. It doesn't get much worse than Web of Trust. I suppose the elitist at Unite would be a close second, but Web of Trust is definitely the worst. Patrick Henry asks, why are you so superior to your friend/competitor Danowact1? I have several reasons for this, and I will list them now. Because I'm a grader 1, I'm straight up stuntin', I'm the realist, I'm that gorgeous boy, bad bitches non-stop choosing me, I got a wicked pistol game, I'm not a foul caller, I'm a dealer of dope, I'm a killer of legends, I'm a crack seller, I'm a snorter of cocaine, I still slangin' crack, I'm top winnin', I am superior, I'm so much smarter than you, yo girl keepin' me in her, you are below me, you ugly big-nosed dude, God loves me and hates you, you a means to an end, you are trash, you are beneath me, you have no value, and I'm the best to ever ball. Gorillas Bandit 123 asks, what about reviewing real antivirus programs? I'm probably more open to that idea now than I was years ago, so if anybody wants to see me review real antivirus programs, just leave some comments about it. All-Star Snorks 2 asks, can you test viruses and rogues made for Linux? There's really not any malware worth looking at for Linux. Space Doge asks, how many different rogues do you think there are? Probably say around 300 to 400. Right now there's a lot of clone rogues, which really inflate the number, so it might actually be closer to 500 or 600. Finn is totally not here asks, what do you think about rogues these days? Are they all just clones of each other? Were past rogues better? Yes, they were. They absolutely were, because nowadays every rogue is just a clone off of the original whatever rogue. And yes, the past ones were much, much better. Madeline R. asks, what do you think of the pig squeal? And I've been told this actually originates from an older version of Kaspersky. And I think it's just totally ridiculous to have a real antivirus, much less a fake antivirus. Killer Cop 311 / Alex 311360 / Nintendo Player 311 / The Darkness asks, have you attempted really old things like Spy Sheriff or others? Yes, but the main problem with these old rogues is that they have to access their homepage or whatever to download some resources for the fake antivirus. And of course those sites have been down for years, so generally they don't work. Star VR asks, have you ever gotten malware on your computer not on purpose? Not since Vundu, about 6 or 7 years ago, so no. Conboy456 asks, who is Naz, who is Naz, who is Naz, etc. And my answer to that is, Naz is a person who lives in Bedford, Ohio, who needs to get on Skype. If you happen to live in Bedford, Ohio, you need to find this Naz person immediately. SSTTTEEFF asks, have you ever considered committing to YouTube and trying to make a living out of it? If yes, what is the thing that has held you back and or is still doing it? The main thing holding me back right now is that the AdSense account that's linked to my channel got banned, and I have no way to remove that. So I think this channel is like permanently banned from ever monetizing videos. And even if I could monetize, I really wouldn't want to make a living out of it. It's just not secure at all. I would not want to make a living out of making videos. And Portia Page has another question. I always thought that younger people would be more security savvy, but in my experience it seems that youths are more susceptible to malware and scams as generations past. What do you think are the biggest security mistakes people make nowadays, and in the future, what issues might these errors lead to? I think probably the worst thing people do is use really, really weak passwords on every site they use. And That's just a really big problem. I don't even think malware is the biggest problem. It's using weak passwords and getting hacked. These problems can lead to all the way up to pretty much identity theft. If you're using the same username and password for every banking site or PayPal or whatever. And that will wrap up part 2 of my question and answer series. If you would like to ask another question, please leave a comment in the other video in the description. I will not be answering questions from the comments of this video or the previous one. So thank you very much for watching, and stay tuned.